Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't be happier in such a wonderful mood because our next guest is a talented comedian making his first appearance with us tonight. And this weekend, you can see him at the Gotham Comedy Club right here in New York City. Please welcome Marc Maron.
How are you, folks? Good? If you're not from New York, welcome to New York. I live here in Manhattan, and I like it all right. The only problem is where I live downtown, people steal everything in my neighborhood. They steal things, you know, out of your car, out of your apartment, off your body. Then they turn around and sell it right on the street. This actually happened to me in my neighborhood. I'm walking down my street. Guy comes up beside me. He's running. He's like, hey, want to buy this Walkman? $7. There was a guy behind him going, hey, what the hell's going on here? So I said, how much without the listener would that be? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like chaos going on all the time in this city. And like, you know, when you live here, you have to have your blinders up 24 hours a day, or your head would just pop off. That's actually how we know how people are not from here, because they're walking around going, you know, oh, they're not from here. Rob that one, you know? But I had no idea how quickly they went up until this would happen to me. I'm using a payphone. 2 days after I moved here, I'm using a payphone on the street. As I'm standing there, 2 cop cars pull up onto the sidewalk. 4 cops get out, draw their guns to investigate the store right in front of me. And my only response was to go, oh, gee. You know, not like they have guns, I'll call you back. But might get loud in a second. Thank you. Hey, could you speak up? There's gunplay on this end. Officer, I'm on the phone here. A little respect? Can we take it somewhere? Kidding. Yeah, I'll call you back. All right. I actually thought about getting a gun, you know, because, you know, to protect yourself. And I was in Texas a couple months ago, and oddly enough, they come in some cereal boxes in Texas. But, no, but I thought for protection. I mean, I know what it's like to be afraid. I live with my girlfriend, and that's not where the funny is. Wrong funny. All right. No, but you know when you live with somebody and you both wake up because you hear something, you're not sure what it is, and she's like, well, what was that? And I'm always like, I don't know. And then I'm like, are you going to go check? You know? But then I thought, you know, if I had a gun, I'd have a little more confidence. I'd feel a little more protected. But then I read somewhere that most people who buy guns to protect their homes from bad guys rarely end up shooting bad guys. They just shoot who's ever in the house. Accidentally, you know. So then I pictured that same situation. You know, we both wake up, only have a gun. And she's like, well, what was that? I'm like, be quiet, baby. Give me the gun. I'll take care of these bastards. And I can just walk down the hall, you know, and kick open the door and just like, pow, pow, oh, man. Honey, I shot your cat. No, I'm sorry. I thought it was a bad... No, I'm sorry. I thought it was a bad... Why are you yelling at me? Why? Now, what is your problem exactly? See, that's how the accidents happen. See? Yeah. Well, you know, that's it. Well, you know, you don't want to make your TV debut on Cops. I'd rather do it here, you know. But, to segue to TV, I don't watch a lot of television. I've stopped watching television just because it gets annoying after a while. And I've decided that the only pure television, the only television worth watching most of the time is the Food Network. Let me explain. Because it's pure, you know, never once, when you're watching the Food Network, never do you have to go, who are these people? What's going on here? You know, it's very, you start out with raw elements, and you know you're moving to something, you know? And it's not boring. There's no shortage of subplot or story on the Food Network. I mean, you know, like when the guy goes, okay, we're going to put these onions aside for later. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen with those onions. I better not get up. You know, it's actually gotten to the point now where I leave the Food Network on even if I'm not home. That way, I come home, hey, someone's cooking. I'd like to end on a spiritual note if I could. I read recently that a lot less people believe in God now. And I think that one of the reasons is God doesn't seem to talk to people like he used to. If you read the Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament, every other day it was like, Abraham, guess who? Yes, it is God. I need you to do something for me. Can you do it? Thanks. Knew I could count on you. Right on. Okay. Who's he talking to now? I don't know. And then I'm walking down the street, actually in Times Square, and I realize maybe it's those guys you see walking down the street talking to themselves. You know those guys that are like, I can't. No, I can't. I can't. Maybe the other side of that conversation is God going, "You're the new leader." No, I can't. They're not crazy. They're reluctant prophets. Thank you very much. Good night.
Marc Maron, ladies and gentlemen. Very nice. Thank you, sir. We'll be right back with Eric LaSalle from ER. Our next guest is a talented comedian who will be performing in Seattle, Washington at the Paramount Theater on April 23rd. Here's the funny Marc Maron. Marc, come on out and...
How you folks doing, all right? All right, now I know it's a nice day out, but I got to ask you a weird question. Have you ever thought about how easy it is to completely ruin someone else's day? It's a weird question, all right? But you could walk into a store, maybe on your way to work, walk up to the guy, "Hey, how you doing? Yeah, it's nice out. Can I get a pack of Marlboro, please?" And let's say, hypothetically, he puts Marlboro Lights on the counter. And you just go, "Oh, what are those? I didn't ask for those. What are you, an idiot? Are you stupid?" Now, there's a real good chance you ruined his day, all right? But what you don't realize is he leaves work with that festering in his head, just going, "What the hell was that guy's problem? I didn't even say anything." And not thinking, because he's pissed off at you, he cuts some guy off. And the guy behind him goes, "Hey, what the hell is this?" And it goes to that guy. Do you see what I'm saying? And it just goes around and around like that, till somehow or another it all ends up in the Middle East. Do you see how this works? Now, I know we're at war. I flipped around. I found it on 2 channels. Wasn't there a time where war was on every channel? You're like, "What's on TV? War. What's wrong with you?" You know? But now, like, I don't think we should live in a time where you can go, "Ooh, ethnic cleansing. Hey, wrestling." I think it's wrong. And I hope there's not a ground war, but all I can say is that soldiers now are certainly more prepared than soldiers in Vietnam. I think that a soldier in Vietnam, 24 hours a day, probably looks something like this. "Where are they? What are they doing? Why are we here? Jeez." But I think a soldier now, most of the time, is more like, "Hey, turn on the TV. Let's see if we hit anything." Hey, wrestling. I'm going to step out on a limb here and say that whatever music you like, you might be wrong. Let me explain. A couple of days ago, I went out and bought a CD by a band I don't even like. So I had to ask myself, well, how'd this happen? What, am I stupid? And then I realized if you watch MTV or you listen to the radio enough, you keep getting hit in the head with the same song till one day you just snap and go, "Must have Limp Bizkit," you know? So I decided to fight against this corporate occupation of my brain, and in an act of protest, I went and returned the CD, and in exchange, I got a CD of traditional Indian music from India. All right, you can laugh, but let me tell you something. There's a song on there, 59 minutes long. That's value. Wait. I'm telling you, it's 20 minutes before the drums kick in. But if you're really listening, they couldn't come in a second sooner. And I was trying to convince this friend of mine that this was the best music ever. And we've been listening to it like 19 minutes, and he said, "This sucks." And I said, "Wait." Those drums came rolling in. He just said, "Hey, I stand corrected." I got an anniversary coming up. I've been married 2 years. Thank you. And I remember the wedding, thank God. No, but I mean, weddings are weird. If you want to have the wedding you want to have, and your family's involved, forget it, all right? We thought we were going to get married on a mountain at sunset in Arizona. Her mother put the kibosh on that plan with one sentence: "Esther can't make it up the hill." There's always an Esther, and she's not going up the hill. You learn a lot about yourself when you're married. Like recently, I never really realized how annoying I was. This is how annoying I am. My wife won't give me her work phone number. I'm getting older. I mean, like, it's weird. I saw my family over the holidays, and it's a strange thing about your family is that everybody had their problems growing up. But, at some point, I realized you just got to sit down with your dad over coffee, look him right in the eye, and go, all right, is there any way I can avoid becoming you? Is there any way? Did you keep a diary? Is there a map? Because it's happening, and I want out. But like I said, I'm getting older, and you realize you're getting older in weird ways. Like I realized recently, teenage girls don't even acknowledge me as a sexual being anymore. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying I want to have sex with teenage girls. I'm just saying, hey, throw me a bone. How about a smile? Cute T-shirt. Look at me. Nothing, I'm lying. Of course I want to have sex with teenage girls. I mean, come on, doesn't everyone? I mean, that's why there's a law. Thank you very much, folks.
Nice job, Mark. Thank you. At the Paramount Theater, April 23rd in Seattle, Washington. My thanks to Khalid El-Amin and to Bill Maher. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Craig Kilborn is next. Good night, everybody. Our next guest, a very funny gentleman. He'll be performing at the Laugh Stop in Houston, Texas, June 19th through the 22nd. Please welcome back to the show, Marc Maron. Oh, Marc, come on out.
Thank you. Well, folks, it's great to be back in New York. I was traveling a lot lately, and I got searched at the airport, and all I can say is it's about time. It was my first time. I was getting envious. I was getting search envy, I was like, what? Why not me, Because it's weird. When something's random, it doesn't matter what it is. Some part of your brain goes, I want to win. It's a charade, and we play along. The woman goes through my bag. She takes out my manicure kit, takes out the little scissors, you cut nose hairs with, and looks at me and says, I'm going to have to take these. And, there's that moment where, she knows it's not me. I know it's not me. And I go, really? You're going to have to take my nose hair scissors? And she goes, yes, sir, I am. And I go, well, am I okay? Because, if I'm not okay, maybe you should just trim it just a little because I want to look my best at the gate. But it is a charade, and we play along because it's the democratic thing to do. We play along so the people they are racially profiling don't get uncomfortable. Basically, we're saying, yeah, take the scissors. Yeah, I see the guy. I see him. Don't look now. I see him. Yeah. I'll get new scissors. Do what you got to do. Terrorism is a bad thing, if that's not clear to anybody. But the thing is weird. These guys are desperate, angry people, and it's a cult. It's like a cult. Did you know they're indoctrinated? Did you know these guys are denied sex most of their life, which would make anybody crazy, all right? The women they do have in their life they're treated badly, they're covered up, they're not allowed to talk. And I think this is at the core of their ability to do evil, just from personal experience. If you don't have a woman in your life keeping you down somehow, you have no perspective of reality. I mean, Picture the conversation. We are going to go and take over the world. You're not going anywhere. We have people coming over. They're our friends. We invited them. If you need to go somewhere, why don't you go get some ice cream for dessert? But we're going to take over the world. No. Okay. I cannot go to take over the world today. No, I'm not afraid of that. I can't explain. I must go get Chunky Monkey now. That was really. I just had a moment where I was like, "Where's my cell phone?" Isn't that? It's a weird. I can't believe I don't have it with me. It's weird. You know, I didn't think I'd ever get one. I don't even remember when we didn't have them. Do you? What a dark and primitive time that must have been. You know? But I know when I don't have it, I go in. Do you ever leave the house and you get into that sort of lack of cellular-induced anxiety? You know, where you're like, "Oh no, wait. The satellite doesn't know where I am." What if someone I don't need to talk to needs to get hold of me right now? They can't. I'm just an unidentified human object floating freely on the global information grid with no beacon, no point of reference. I am meaningless on a galactic level, you know. My phone has Bach, Beethoven, Wagner on it, little snippets of classical genius being heard the way they were meant to be heard. On a small handheld communications device, hundreds of years after the death of the composer. Have we no respect for genius? Beethoven wrote symphonies to be heard in symphony halls. What do we do with it? Beep, 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 boo. It's Beethoven. I wonder if he wrote any other songs. And do you think Beethoven had any inkling in even the darkest recesses of his unconscious when he was deaf and sweating over his Fifth Symphony that one day it would emit from some idiot's pocket? And the response would be, "Oh no, it's my mom." Thanks a lot, folks.
I'm sorry you have to see that.
That was pretty exciting.
That's very exciting. The very definition of excitement.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, listen, have a lovely time down there in Houston. Thank you very much. I hope you come back again. Very, very nice job. Marc Maron, everybody. We'll be right back. Have a lovely weekend. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much, Paul. Just a second, I need to say something to Tony, our cue card guy. Okay. Bravo.
Hey, you know, I can't yell, "Hey, you."
Yeah, hey, you is fine.
All right, next time.
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, you was fine.
Yeah.
That's a good boss.
Our next guest is a very funny gentleman, and his Comedy Central special premieres this Friday night at 10. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the program, Marc Maron.
All right, how are you? Great to be here, folks. Please take a few seconds to judge me. Perfect. I don't always look like this. I got to change. I got to get a haircut. I got to shave. This is, now that the holidays are over, this is really a seasonal look. What I do generally Yeah, over Christmas, I like to dress up as Jesus, and I go to malls, and I just basically walk through the mall saying, no, this isn't what it was supposed to be about, people. And the best part is, if there's a Santa at the mall, I'll walk right up to him and say, listen, fat man, you're just a clown at my birthday party. My wife, a few months ago, brought it to my attention that I have an anger problem. She didn't say it like that. She said, I'm leaving if you don't deal with your anger problem. So I, of course, said, what are you talking about? No, I didn't say that. I said what I did was I went out and I bought a book on anger management, people, and I can honestly say now I have that book. Kind of looking forward to not being able to find that book one day so I can hear myself say, where the hell is my anger management book? I live in Los Angeles, and every time I leave town, my wife says, I don't like you leaving. I don't like to be alone in the house. We were robbed once. She says, I think we need a gun. I need a gun in the house. Now, people, there is no way I'm getting my wife a gun. Because there is no way I'm not getting shot with that gun. Buying my wife a gun is sort of like me saying, you know, I kind of want to kill myself. But I want it to be a surprise. I didn't get her a gun, but she did get a new BlackBerry cell phone, which means now I have to get another cell phone because my cell phone is old, and she text messages me. And to text message on my cell phone, I might as well have a hammer and chisel and a stone tablet. It's sort of like clink, 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 clink. And then it gets to the point where it's like, clink, oh, the hell with this. Yeah, I'm calling her. Hello? Don't text me anymore. It's stupid. But, you know, I have to get a new one because I don't even know, like, look, I'm a guy, I just make phone calls with my cell phone. I don't listen to music. I don't take pictures. I put numbers in it. That's it. I don't even know what it does. But I know it's only a matter of time before some kid comes up next to me, like, hovering off the ground, like 2 feet off the ground. Zzz, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And he's going to go, I don't know, my phone does it. And I'm going to be standing there going, does mine do it? Don't fly away, young man. Help me. I want to fly. I'm not completely backward with technology. I do have a computer just for porn. Let me explain. It didn't start out that way. What happened was I bought an apple, and apples are so nice and clean and pretty and virginal, and yeah, I didn't want to dirty up its mind with that filth, you know, so now I've got this old whore of a PC out in the garage. It's all corrupt and full of viruses and crazy. I go out there, it's like, still want to do me? So, of course, I'm like, yeah, if you say it like that, more, actually. Where do you want to go today? Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I'm not paranoid, but it does make me uncomfortable that the government can now tap our phones and look at our hard drives. And, look, it's just wrong, it's unconstitutional, and I have no patience for people who defend the policy by saying, hey, buddy, look, if you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to worry about. Well, I'll be honest with you, folks, I got nothing to hide, but I got a few things I'm ashamed of. I mean, I'd almost rather be caught with a bomb. I could explain that. What are you going to do with that bomb? I'm going to blow something up. But if they downloaded the stuff on my hard drive, I'd be hard-pressed for an explanation. I mean, I'd have to say, hey, I didn't know it was a guy at first, you know? And then I just kept looking at it because it was weird. I don't know. Am I in trouble? What do you want me to do? We want you to blow up that building. Okay, just don't tell my wife about the thing.
Marc Maron, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back, everybody. Thank you very much.
It's in design. Let me stand next to you.
Thank you, and thank you so much. Johnny Depp, I mean, there's a guy, we say this every time he comes on. He's a great actor,
Yep.
and a movie star,
Yeah.
and extra cool.
Yeah, yeah. An extra helping of cool. Yeah, he's got it.
Well, how can you not like him?
Triple threat. You gotta like him.
And I enjoyed Tonto. I really enjoyed Tonto. Our next guest is the creator and star of the IFC comedy series entitled Maron. The season finale airs tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Marc Maron. Marc, come on out here. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
I'm feeling embarrassed. We just talked about this. Your last appearance was 11 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, that was
11 years ago.
It was that long. It's weird as a comic when you're sitting up in the green room and you're thinking like, all right, so I'm going to follow a lengthy discussion about the decimation of the Native Americans. That's a great lead-in. Here we go.
But it's Johnny Depp for him.
I know, it was great. I didn't get to see him. He ran away from me immediately.
Now, to talk about the podcast and the origin of the podcast and what it's grown to. It's like a thing.
Yeah, the podcast
Now,
was...
first of all, for people like me, and
Yeah.
I know what it is now,
Yeah.
kind of, what are we talking about? Let's define some terms.
Well, it's much like this show, only a much smaller production that takes place in my garage. It was born out of complete desperation and failure. What I did was I started interviewing comics and people I know in my garage, and it became very popular. I interviewed a lot of people that you know Robin Williams, Gary Shandling, Richard Lewis, Jimmy
big
Walker.
stars in comedy.
Oh, yeah, they come to my garage.
So you interviewed them, and then what would you do with the interviews? What you have that?
Well, then, like magic, we put it on the computer, and then people can go and upload it onto their computer
Right.
or their iPod.
But how did they know that it was even there?
I have no idea, Dave.
But somehow, I guess word of mouth.
Well,
or
Twitter, yeah, and people would, sort of network it, and it got popular, and it's very exciting because I didn't know where my career was going at that time, and then this thing that I did in my garage, gets hugely popular. I interview, like I do hour interviews. I don't know, like that's a long time.
No, but I think that's great. It gives you time to settle in and find a rhythm and do some exploration.
Yeah.
How many of these shows have you done? The podcast?
400.
400. Now, which ones come to mind? Mel Brooks, Carl Reiner, I know. Were
Yes, I did Mel Brooks, I did Carl Reiner, I did Dick Van Dyke. Now, obviously, if you're over 80, I'm not going to have you to the garage. I will go to wherever you are. I don't expect you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm not going to say, well, Mel, we can't do it unless you can schlep up to the house, right? So I get an opportunity to interview Mel Brooks, which is amazing. He's a comic hero of mine, and it was hilarious, okay? So what happens is I get this opportunity to go to his office and interview him. Now, I know he talks a lot about himself in a lot of different venues, so I don't usually do research. I just like to talk.
Right.
But with him, I did a lot of research, and I'm driving over, and I still don't know, how I'm going to approach it. And on my way over, I realized, well, he's a Jew, I'm a Jew, I'm just going to go full Jew, all right? And
sure.
Right, yeah, and you listen to that interview, and within 5 minutes, I'm literally talking like, oh, you kidding me? Of course I remember World War II. We were there together, Well, here's what happens. So it's just me and Mel, and there's no one there but him and I, so it's very candid. He's not really performing. We have a nice conversation. He takes a liking to me, and he says, you should have a talk show on television. So I said, okay, call somebody. So, but then he says, you should talk to Carl. And I go, Carl Reiner. He goes, yes, Carl Reiner. I'd love to talk to Carl Reiner. He says, I'll set it up. And I go, how is Carl Reiner? And Mel Brooks goes, well, he's about 80%. Okay. Now, Carl's like 91. Mel is like 87.
91,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So I go over to Carl's house. It's hilarious. All right, I talk to Mel. He walks me to my car, which was hilarious. We have no time for that. So
I appreciate the self-editing.
Very good story. Maybe 11 years from now. So I drive to Carl Reiner's house. I'm greeted by his manager and nephew, George Shapiro, who's in his 70s.
Yes.
We walk in. I set up my mic and my boom. Carl comes down, and George Shapiro immediately sits across from us and falls asleep. Okay, so Shapiro is sleeping. I'm talking to Carl, and there's a publicist on the couch. We have this nice interview. Everything's great. In the middle of the interview, Carl says, do you know how many Jews there are involved in Broadway musicals? And I said, I have no idea. I imagine a lot. He goes, a lot. And I'm like, okay. He goes, I watched a show on it. There's a big list at the end of the Jews in Broadway musicals. I'm going to show you this list. And I'm like, great. Sounds great. So...
Really?
Yeah. So now, of course, during the whole conversation, Shapiro's sleeping the whole time. So we finished talking, and of course, Shapiro is the first guy to go, that was a great interview. Right. Now,
Well, that's what a manager does.
that's a good manager,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So now Carl's playing with the remotes. He's got 2 remotes to show me the list of Jews. and Shapiro out of nowhere goes, is there ice cream? All right. So now Shapiro goes, he gets a box of Weight Watchers ice cream sandwiches. Now we're all eating Weight Watchers ice cream sandwiches, and Carl's trying to figure out where the show is. So he starts the show at the beginning, and I'm like, oh my God, how long am I going to be here?
Yeah.
These guys are geniuses. I love it, but I'm here for 2 hours. Sure. I hope they have more ice cream sandwiches. So he finally starts the show, right? All right, and then the phone rings, and Carl picks it up, and he goes, hello? Yes, it was great. He's still here. Hold on. And he goes, it's Mel Brooks. And he hands me the phone, and I'm like, hello? And all I hear is Mel Brooks go, 80%, right?
Wow. Man.
And I said, well, maybe 85. He goes, all right, maybe 85. Put Carl back on. So I put Carl back on, and from what I could tell, they had an argument about whether or not Carl could roast his own chicken for about 5 minutes. And then I walk out of Carl's house with George, because he's going to his car, I'm going to my car. And George goes, what did Mel Brooks say? And I said, well, he said Carl was about 80%. And George goes, he tells the truth. And that was that.
Did you ever see the list of Jewish people in music?
I had to go before that happened, Dave. He looked tired, but it's amazing how lucid they are. Mel and him, geniuses, and still very
Well, we're
quick.
talking about the podcast, 400 episodes of the podcast, and also the season finale of the IFC show called Maron, self-titled, which will take place tomorrow at 10 p.m. Good to see you again, Marc.
Great to see you.
Thank
Thanks,
you very
Dave.
much. Congratulations on everything. We'll be right back with Dawes, everybody.